Welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and as you can tell from the countdown clock, the lesson is about to get started. In case you're new with this, there's a few things I'd like to show you to help you throughout the lesson. These lessons are always guided and shaped by your questions, and if you're live with us today, there's a couple different ways you can do that. One is in the public live chat, and the other is the Ask Jamin a Question button, where you can ask me a question privately, and I won't share your identity in case you're afraid that your question is stupid. But it's not. If you're in the archives, though, then just open up the survey. At the end of that, there's a place where you can ask your question. I will say I frequently get questions from students in the archives watching a lesson from 6 months ago, and I have no idea what they're talking about. So please try to be as specific as possible. If you're watching this at LearnPianoLive.com, there should be a PDF and an MP3 button right next to this video. The PDF will often have additional video links inside so you can get more in-depth instruction on each of the topics. And if you're the kind of person who likes to print out the PDF so you can make the same notes on your physical version as I'm making during the lesson, now would be the time to do that. The MP3 is just a play-along track so you can practice more after the lesson. In traditional lessons, a teacher is going to actually present some new concept for maybe 5 or 10 minutes every couple weeks. The rest of the time is going to be spent applying and refining those concepts. Well, here I'm spouting off hours of new information every week, so it's totally unreasonable to expect you to actually absorb all of that. Instead, the goal of these live lessons is for you to find some little nugget of something that makes sense but is a bit of a challenge, and for you to go practice it, because practice is where all the improvement's going to happen. So don't feel bad if you have to leave the live lesson when you find that little thing that you're going to practice. And of course, if I'm going too fast, you can always rewind the live lessons or replay in the archives as much as you want. If these live lessons start feeling random or meandering, it's because they are, on purpose. So if you're the kind of person who wants classical training with a step-by-step method, then you're going to want to check out Kloppel Academy on the website. It's included in your live lesson subscription, so you can do both or either. And the upper levels are seriously hard work, but it's going to take you all the way from ground zero all the way up to being ready to enter any major music college as a piano major in classical or jazz. And finally, it's most people's favorite. This is application, where we take the past concepts from other live lessons and we see how they apply to an actual real song that already exists. And since there's like 1,000 different ways to play any song, you're just going to work on the version that is appropriate for your level. So that might just mean playing one note at a time for right now. Or maybe you're working on chords or covering the full song. Or maybe you're just seeing how the song breaks down so you can better write and transcribe your own songs in the future. But whatever your level is, the goal is not this song. So even if you don't play the whole entire song, you'll get better by even attempting a little bit of it, and attempt it we shall. And that is all you need to know for Satin Doll, I believe. Yeah, cool. So we'll get to that and all the chords for this and everything you possibly want to know for Satin Doll in just a second. But first of all, welcome back to LearnPianoLive.com. My name is Jamin, and this is the incomparable Kendra.
Guess what, Jamin? I am really excited because my partner Nino and I have been working on how to write songs to briefs.
Yeah.
Which are like little general descriptions of like types of songs.
Yeah.
And we've never done that before. And
Yeah.
it's been really fun and exciting.
So like give me an example of a brief.
So we've done a whole one so far. And that one was indie pop, female empowerment, confident, swaggy, etc. It was pretty general.
Cool.
And we'd never written that kind of music before. So we gave it a shot.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun.
That's really cool. Nice. So it's just like the feeling of a song. Like, make me feel this way in music. Ready, set, go.
Basically. Yeah.
That's really cool. Nice. And then you got some other really exciting news coming up that I won't brag for you, but I'm excited over here.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
All right. So let's get back into this thing over here. This is you don't have to be able to read any music. Just if you can find the letters, then cool. If not, no problem. I'll show you that too. This one's going to start on an A. You can pretty much ignore everything that's up here. That's all the intermediate level stuff. So we're going to ignore all of that. And we're just going to try to play an A and a G and an A. So to find an A, you just need any group of 3 black notes like those right there. And you're going to take the middle note and drag it slightly up, slightly to the right. And actually, I need to change one thing real quick. I'll be right back. Hang on just a second. All better now. We had an accompaniment track of some canines back there. So we take any group of 3 black notes and take the middle note and drag it slightly to the right, and we'll land on an A every single time. And from there, you can just count through the alphabet. So if I pick this A instead, so I can go farther up here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it all starts over again. A, B, C, D, F, G, A, B, C, D, F, G, all the way through the end of the piano. So now you know how to find all of the notes. It'll take some practice if you've never done that before to get familiar with their geography. But just do note that like all the C's, for example, look kind of exactly the same because they're all right next to a group of 2 black notes. So group of 2 black notes, C right there. So every single letter, the geography stays the same through all the octaves. So an A is right there, an A is right there, always in that group of 3. A B is always right above a group of 3. The C is always right next to a group of 2. So you'll get used to that. So we're gonna start on that A, and then we're gonna go back and forth between the A and the note right next to it, which happens to be a G. So it's just all A's and G's back and forth. Do pay attention to this. This is the one thing in sheet music that you do need to know in order to be able to play this song, and that is that thing right there is called a tie, and it ties those 2 notes together. So that looks like you're supposed to play G twice. You're not. You're just supposed to play one big G. It's going to be kind of longer than the other notes around it because there's 2 notes that are tied together. So A, G, A, G, A. And then A, G, A. Then do the exact same move, ba ba da 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 da, but you're gonna move it up 1 note. So we're actually gonna, instead of playing these 2 notes, we're gonna move up and play these 2 notes right here. And that's that next section right there. So far we've just taken 2 notes and then sequenced them or just moved them over and played the exact same thing. So the entire first line, and actually like 3 more lines of the entire song, are going to be and along with the track it would sound something like this. You can go ahead and try to play along if you want. 1, 2, 2, 3, go. And then move over. Hey, you're playing Satin Doll. Congratulations. That's pretty cool. So we want to do kind of the same, a similar-ish move. What I would call like a neighbor tone, I guess is the technical name, or a side step is what I would call it, where we're just like playing a note and then going away from it and coming right back. And then we play that one, come right back to it. That move right there is going to be the same thing, but up on a D. So we're going to skip up to a D. It's not quite the same rhythm, but it's still just a little neighbor tone right there. And then same thing on these two notes right here, which are called B flat and A flat because it's slightly below a B and slightly below an A. So B flat is the one slightly below a B and A flat is the one slightly below an A. So we're gonna play and then end the whole thing on a G. And if you know that, you literally know 75% of the song. Just all that, because this song is what's known as an AABA. That's the form of it. So what we just learned was the A section. After you're done with the entire A section, what you're supposed to play is the A section again. And then there's something new that is not the A section. We could call that the B section. And at the end, you're going to play the A section. So we just learned the A section, and now all we need to really learn is the B section, except we have some repeating A stuff in there. So let's play all the A sections, and then I'll tell you where the B section is. Actually, let me just write it in here. This is the A section, and then this is the A section, and then this down here is the B section, and then down here, this is the A section. So let's play all the way through it. You're going to use that neighbor tone thing, kind of sequenced around, and then end it on a G. You're gonna try to get all those that you can. If you mess up, that's all right. Just grab the next one as it rolls around. You got 3 chances at the A section, and if you don't get it right in the first 3 tries, then you're normal. So don't worry about it. Just try it again later. Okay, here we go. Starting on that A. 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, ready, go. And then move it up. And then move it up to D, neighbor tone, down to a B flat, and end it on a G. Then we do the second A section. And then move it up. Down to the B flat. Okay, now we've got the B section, which goes like this. Yeah, doesn't look too terrible. Now, check this out. Same exact thing, sequenced up. That's the second half of the B section. Now it's time for the A section. Ready? Jump in with me on the A. That's it. That's the whole entire song. So let's go back and conquer that B section because it's not terrible. You can definitely do this. It looks scary because there's a ton of notes there in that B section, but it's just those ones right there. Bam, you got it. So start on a C and then play just straight down 4 notes, except for we're not gonna play B, we're gonna play B flat. So in the place of B, play a B flat. So you go from the top down to the bottom, up to the top, to the bottom, to the top. It's just those 4 notes back and forth. Now we're gonna sequence that whole entire thing up 1 note with no flats at all. So now these ones, the exact same thing. That's the whole B section, you just learned it. So these 4 notes, up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. These 4 notes, and then down and up and down and up and down and up and down and up. Starting at the top for both of those. So, and then we're back into the A section. So we're gonna try the whole entire thing. This time, play all the sections that you can. The B section is gonna start on a C. The A section is always gonna start on an A. No, I'm sorry, not in all songs. In this song, all the A sections start with an A, and the B section starts on a C. A lot of letters in there. Let's try this thing all the way through. Get all the notes that you can. Don't worry about the ones that are missed. 2 and a 1, 2, ready, and the whole A section. Let's do the A section again, and ready, go. Cool. B section, start on that C. Okay, now start on a D, all white notes. You got it, this? Here we go. And then back to the A section, started on A. let's try this thing one more time. Once you have that down, we kind of want to mess with it a little bit and not play the exact rhythms, if there was such a thing. I mean, there's what's written here, but then, you know, you can kind of mess around with it. Try some other notes, like in the neighborhood of the notes that you're playing. So, like, we could maybe use this note or this note in there, like combining them in there, and just try to like keep this same feeling, the original feel of the, like, we still kind of like want to have that melody like going in the back of our minds, but we also want to like kind of mess around with it a little bit. Let me show you some examples that are not the right way, but also aren't the wrong way. These are just some options of what you could do. I'm mostly going to stick with white notes. In the case where we're playing this section right here, during the part where that's the melody, then these two notes probably aren't going to sound great. So I'm going to try to avoid using especially the A during that section. And you'll see me kind of go back to those notes right there. And then same thing when we have this section. Use all white notes except for, of course, B, because right there in the melody, they're telling us to use a B flat. But then during this section, then we can use pretty much all white notes. If you run into a note that sounds bad, though, that's normal. Just take note of it and go, oh, during that section, that one particular note doesn't sound great. And then the opposite of that, of course, if you run into something that sounds really great, then stop the track, figure out what in the world you did, and try to repeat that as many times as possible. Let's go from the top. 2, 1. So I'm going to try to mess up the melody. So hopefully you can still hear the original melody in there. And then we've got the B section. And then the A section. Cool. So then there's some options for you there, and the options are kind of limitless, especially once we get into adding in some of the chords, which we'll do in the intermediate level in just a second. But first, it's time for the feature of the day, which today is going to be Kendra.
That's right. And today's lick of the day is arpeggiated inversions.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I didn't follow the script. That was my fault. So arpeggiated inversions is just where we take any one of these chords. For example, if we take the D minor chord, which we'll learn in the intermediate version, but that's this symbol right here, the chord thing. During that section, some of the notes that you want to emphasize are the notes from the chord. Like that, D's, F's, and A's. So if you're gonna make up something in that section, you'd want to use a lot of D's and F's and A's. Now, if you already know about the D minor chord, then the cool thing is you can just arpeggiate those notes, play them one at a time, and then take the bottom note and put it on top. So this is the first one, and we would arpeggiate it by playing one note at a time. By the way, this has nothing to do with this song in particular. This is just a general strategy that you can use to make cool sounding solos. Play one note at a time and then put the bottom note on the top. So we have D, F, and A. We put the D on the top, and then we play these notes right here, like that. And then we could put the bottom note on the top, like that. So if I just take a D minor chord and arpeggiate the inversions of the chords, then that's just that thing right there, playing one note at a time. That right there is a great beginning to a lot of really cool solos. If I try that with some of this song, it would sound something like this. 2, and a 1, 2. So that's just playing the chords in different inversions and stuff and trying playing one note at a time. That would take a lot of practice to be able to do that. You know, just kill the track there. But anyway, that's kind of like the beginnings of some really cool chord-based soloing, which we'll get into in the advanced version of the lesson. But for right now, let's go ahead and move on to the intermediate version and figure out how to play these chords. So sadly, the lesson preview has come to an end, and it's time to say goodbye to everyone watching the free streams. Of course, paying subscribers at learnpianolive.com can continue watching this lesson and several hundred others like it in the archives. So come on over and check us out, and if you like what you saw, at least like and subscribe, and then tell your friends to head on over to learnpianolive.com to start enjoying this journey with us. So it's time to transition into the intermediate portion of the lesson. And of course, intermediate is a worthless term because we're all intermediate players. Everybody, you and I included, have people who are looking up to us, who are thinking, man, if I could play like that person, then I could call myself a real musician. And you and I both have people that we're looking up to, thinking, man, if I could play like that person, then I could call myself a real musician. So this is just the part of the lesson where you have permission, if you have found some little nugget of something that is difficult to do, but that makes sense, to take off and go practice it. Don't feel bad about that. Of course, if you want to stick around, you might pick up some extra stuff too, and we'd love to keep chatting with you. But I just want to let all of the new students know you're not supposed to try everything in every lesson. And I want to give everybody else a chance to go get something to drink and take a bathroom break. But it's time to get back to it. Let's go. Okay, so what we want to do now is add in the roots of the chords, not quite going to the chords yet. Perhaps playing the chords in the right hand while I play the roots in the left hand. That could be an option. But for right now, let's just talk about the roots of the chords. The root is just taking the letter name by itself. So we would start with a D, and this is all the top stuff here. So this is not the stuff that's written on the treble clef anymore. So that says D minor 7. Our bass player, or our left hand, would play the D, and it says G7, so we'd play a G, and then a D, and then a G, and then an E, and an A, and an E, and an A, and then an A, and a D, and then an A flat, and then a D flat, and then a C. So that's the bass line, and that would go along with back to the A again, and then A flat, and then these chords over here kind of optional, but E, A would kind of lead us back into the D. So if we played that along with the track, it would sound something like this. 2, a 1, 2. I'm going to drop my left hand down an octave 2. Section. A. So that is the bass line that we want to play, and then the chords on top of that. The chords are all listed on the next page. It's going to take a lot of practice because this song has a lot of chords in it, even though the pace is relatively steady, not too fast. There's just a lot of chords in there. So this is the chart that you want to take a look at for all of the triads. I'm going to go ahead and play through them though, so you can come back to the video and just pause on any of the chords you have a question about. This right here is the D minor that is listed. That is correct. If you want to add in the extensions on it, it would be a C and maybe an E. So any of these 5 notes would be great for a D. And because the D is already being played in the root in your left hand or by the bass player, I might just play these notes right here. And so that doesn't really look like a D minor 7 chord unless you're used to seeing chords played without the roots. So that's with the root, that's without the root, because the root's down here. So that's a D minor, and then a G7 would be G with a 7 and maybe a 9 on there. So that right there. And you can put these notes in any order too. So it doesn't have to be B, D, F, A. It could be like F, A, B, D. That's the same exact letters, just in a different order. So pick whatever is convenient for you. So I might play D minor to G7, D minor to G7. That way my hand doesn't really have to move that much. It's also all in that area right there. E minor 7 would be like E minor 7. Maybe that note in there, but probably not. That one to A7 would be A chord with the 7 and 9. And then A minor would be that thing right there. And then D7 would be those notes right there. And then A flat minor with a 7 and a 9. And then a D flat 7 and a 9. And then a C. And I've been playing a 6 and a 9 instead of a 7 and a 9 on the C, because I think the Duke Ellington, the guy who wrote this song, tends to prefer 6s at the ends of his tunes. The major 7 at the end of a song is kind of a not swing feel. It's kind of more like I want to say modern, a more modern feel, but that's not the right word there. Anyway, so a C6 or a C7 there. And then we've got another A section. A G minor would be this thing right here, G minor to a C7, and then an F major 7, and then we have A minor. I think we already did that one, and then D7, and then D minor is that one, and then G7, E minor, which we maybe have that F sharp in, maybe not. I think we went through all of the chords at that point. So all of those in order. Let me just, I'll play the roots and the chords as if someone else was playing the melody. So this is something like what we'll do starting next week. Here we go. Just the chords. If you want to play the melody along with me, that'd be cool. Here we go. 2, 1, 2, ready, and D, G, D minor, G7, E minor, A7, E minor, A7, A minor, D7, A flat minor, D7, C6. D minor, G, E, A, E, A. That should be D. I'll show you that one in a second. A minor, D7, A minor, D7. We're back to the A section. D minor, G7, E, A, A minor, D7, A flat minor, D flat 7, C. And that's like, if you could do that stuff already, that would be huge. So that is, eventually you'd want to put all those chords in the left hand and then play the melody. Have the option of playing the melody. So if you could play D, G, if you played those in the left hand and play the melody. If you played that, then we're pretty far ahead into, I think, the advanced version. So let's go ahead and like make it official and go into the advanced level of this song right now. Hopefully something has made sense so far, because getting into the advanced portion of the lesson, I usually don't even know what's coming up next. So this is just the time where we answer any obscure question, we follow any crazy idea that comes up, and we find out how deep this rabbit hole goes. Good luck to us all. All right, so the advanced version of this is just playing the chords and the melody somehow. That last thing that we did was one variation of that. That's one way to do it. You could also do like what's considered three-handed playing in some circles. So like the left hand plays the bass and the right hand plays the melody, and then somewhere in the middle you have notes from the chord. So like so now my left hand is playing some of the notes from the chord, and my right hand is playing some of the notes from the chord. Let's see here, what was it? And then my pinky is kind of, you know, squirreling around there to try to find the melody. So I have a feeling I skipped some steps in there. It doesn't seem like that's what follows after that other thing. So maybe as an intermediate step, you might want to just try to play the melody with the chords and then just try to play some chord tones in the left hand. So that would be something like D minor and then G7. So I'm still playing the melody on top. D minor, G7, E minor, A7, E minor, A7. A minor 7, D7, and then A flat minor 7, D flat 7. So now I'm trying to fit the melody in, and this should take some considerable practice to be able to do that, and then add in the left hand. And then after that, you could work on putting in some chord tones in the left hand. But there's probably several steps in the middle there that I skipped through. So if you have questions about some of that stuff, then let me know. But eventually, I think we would get into, well, let's just do a cover of it, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. So. Okay, so I think that was mostly, let's see here. I did the arpeggiation thing, and then that we talked about. We did the chords. I did some chords in the left hand, and then I did some chords in the right hand. We played stuck mostly with the melody, but as you can tell, like I was kind of messing with it a little bit, and not playing the exact melody that was written there. If you got any questions about any of the stuff that I did, then feel free to let me know as soon as you run into those, or if you want to take any of these concepts and add them to the songs you're working on personally, that's my favorite. So just steal something that sounded cool and then try to implement that in this other stuff that you're working on, and maybe we call that a day. That is Satin Doll, and then we'll probably do some more work on this with this same song later. Also, this works for, I think, Clopple Academy level 4 and higher. The Satin Doll is one of your options for this song. So anyway, super important song, and a pretty repetitive melody, even though there are a ton of chords. So kind of a cool song to work on. Until next time, I think it's time to go explore, mess up, have fun, rock on.